It's Thursday, October 23rd, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel Sportsbooks. I'm your host here, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer, Jacob Gramegna. We have a great show for you today. Quick rundown on who's going to be on. We got Dom coming on. Dom Luszczyszyn from The Athletic. We're going to take a step back, big picture hockey, just talking about what we've seen in the NHL, some big takeaways, who's outperforming, who's underperforming, what we think will continue after what we've seen in the first 2 weeks of the NHL. Then up next, he was on last week. He's on again this week. Peter Appel. He's the co-founder of Just Baseball, co-host of Not Gambling Advice podcast. He is, we're just going to talk about MLB World Series. He's pretty good at, not pretty good, sorry. He's good at talking baseball, but he has some Dodgers tickets, which I'm a little pissed off about. I'll get into that with him. I know who he's rooting for, but we'll talk about the MLB regardless. And then finally, Hitman comes on, talks Thursday Night Football. Just going to go through the game, the slate, prop bets he likes, all that sort of stuff. Then finally, to close out the show, edge work, overtime, which people have been clamoring for, and we're going to bring to you. But this is a sports betting talk show. It is nothing else that we can start with other than the absolutely breaking news, groundbreaking news that we got in the NBA world with the arrest of the Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and current Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, former NBA player, former Hall of Famer, correct? Is he in the Hall of Fame?
I think so.
Or he's going to be in the Hall of Fame?
At the very least, he's Finals MVP. I would assume he'd be in the Hall of Fame if he's not already.
Incredible NBA player. Both got arrested for gambling-related charges. Today's October 23rd. If you're watching this after fact, this is everything we know so far as of noon.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
He's in the Hall of Fame, as in noon of October 23rd. First of all, the FBI conducted nationwide arrests. They targeted illegal gambling operations. 30 people were detained, 11 different states. Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, and former player Damon Jones, who I'm curious to see how he fits all of this because we haven't really puzzled it together yet. There is an indictment out there. I don't know if it's public. I don't know if you need to use the Freedom of Information Act to access it. Mike Vorkunov on Twitter, who is a writer at The Athletic, has access to it, has it printed out. He's been tweeting stuff about it that we'll get into a little bit later. The charges include wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, and illegal gambling. It's described by the FBI as a multi-year sports rigging and mafia-linked operation involving the Bonanno, Gambino, and Lucchese crime families. This is a big deal. And we'll get into kind of the timeline of how things happened, what they're alleging. But to take a step back, this press conference feels a lot like theater. And I feel like the FBI knew what they were doing with this stuff. And the first thing I want to touch on is that you don't go to jail for a press conference. You get charged. You're not going to jail. So there's a lot of stuff that has to come out about this. And I'm curious to see how this kind of moves forward. Arresting these big crime families is kind of crazy because, it takes big stones for the FBI to do it. But anyways, we'll get into the details right now. Terry Rozier, we heard about it back in, I think it was January of 2025. The NBA was investigating him for a game in 2023 where he played 9 minutes. There was over $200,000 bet on his unders, and he came out of the game after 9 minutes saying he had a foot injury. It's alleged that he told the people who he was arrested with that he would leave the game early, and they were able to somehow get $200,000 down across multiple different in-person casinos and online, or in-person sportsbooks and online sportsbooks, which is, very interesting to see how they did that considering how limits work. I wonder if that was the only time he did that. So it's pretty interesting. Chauncey Billups, on the other hand, he was arrested. It was not tied to this illegal sports betting syndicate, we'll call it, or insider information, prop betting. It wasn't tied to anything to do with prop betting. It was instead for illegal gambling rings that were hosted by these big crime organizations. And they had this crazy stuff like x-ray machines. They had contacts to see through the cards, all these sort of things. I think there was around 24 people arrested in terms of this, and it was all all has to do with these big New York crime families. Now, a couple questions I have. First of all, there's no link yet between the Rozier and the Billups case. Billups isn't linked to the Rozier case. Rozier isn't linked to the Billups case. So they're separate. But I believe a link is Damon Jones. And I wonder how maybe he brought people into this. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to come of this, but I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. A couple things I want to point out as well. In said indictment that I referenced from Mike Vorkunov of The Athletic on Twitter, he mentioned that, if I can just pull up this tweet, that NBA tanking comes up in conversation with this indictment. Specifically referencing this March 24, 2023 game where the Blazers, puts in brackets when they were tanking, and all the Magic starters wouldn't play in April 6, 2023, an April 6, 2023 game, which came from a Magic player with a relationship of a defendant, was bet on. So he's saying that there was 2 games where teams were tanking and a player with a relationship to a defendant bet on said games. It's pretty interesting stuff here. Curious to see how this all unfolds. Obviously, we have to give both sides of it. Terry Rozier's lawyer, attorney, came out and said that he's been accused of this stuff for over a year, and the FBI is kind of committing some sort of misconduct with this, saying the arrest was a photo op, a perp walk, used to embarrass the client rather than based on evidence. He stated that Rozier was a subject, not a target in the probe. And he tried to the team tried to reach out to investigators a long time ago. He denied Rozier as a gambler and argued for a self-surrendering option instead of a public raid. So it's very interesting. 'Cause a lot of times you look at this stuff, you see the FBI come out and talk about this stuff, and it feels like a big theater. And I think it was very tactical when they did this. They did this after the big, not the opening day NBA slate, but the big 12-game NBA slate. They decided to do it 6 a.m. in the morning the day after. The indictment.
The timing is strange.
The indictment was October 16th. So they sat on this for a couple days before they wanted to go through and listen, I don't know the exact details of how this works. But yeah, this is pretty crazy stuff. Had to talk about it before we got into it. Curious to hear your thoughts in the chat. What do you think?
I got to light my Portland Trailblazers overwin fire. I mean, I thought they were in for a good season. Maybe it could still be, but Chauncey Billups is a good coach. So
is he? Okay, well,
it's a shame to lose him for that.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't. I don't know if he broke any NBA rules. You're still allowed to gamble, just not on NBA games, and he didn't do that.
I guess.
And also, how do you get in trouble for cheating someone out of a poker game that's an illegal poker game?
I don't know.
That's the funny part.
I don't know what regulations are in place for Billups.
Anyways, we'll have to see how that unfolds. Had to touch on that. Curious to hear your thoughts. Apologies to Dom, who's been sitting behind in the waiting room for a couple minutes there. We'll bring him up now. He's a writer and modeler over at The Athletic. We're going to talk some NHL stuff here in just a sec. Dom, how's it going today?
Oh, I think he's muted.
Dom, I think you're muted. Just check on your end. Sorry. Sorry, we'll give him a second here before we bring him on to the show. I'm curious to hear, his thoughts on this stuff, because I feel like everyone in the sports world is going to have an opinion on this. You kind of have to. And I also want to hear, for those who don't know, Dom lives in Toronto.
He is in a Blue Jays hat.
Blue Jays hat is on. World Series.
I got my World Series hat on.
Tomorrow. We got a lot going on here.
Yeah.
We got a lot.
Sports world's going crazy. Timing of this also, by the way, all this stuff occurred before the Jonte Porter stuff, if I'm not mistaken. So there hasn't been anything since Jonte Porter. So
when was the Porter stuff? 2024?
Yeah, I think it was 2 seasons ago now. Okay. Not last season, the season before.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, let's bring Dom up here. I can hear him in the background. Just bring him in here in just a second. I'm curious to hear, again, like I said, his thoughts on all this stuff, if he has an opinion. And then also we need to know about the World Series. So, Dom, how's it going? Sorry about that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, great. I don't know what the hell happened there. I even tried to go into Chrome, and it gave me a sad folder. So it just didn't work on Chrome. So I came back, and it worked, so that's good. Yeah, this gambling stuff is wild. I don't know if I have an opinion other than if you play the sport, don't gamble on it. If you're a high-profile person, maybe is a mafia game as well.
Yeah.
The poker stuff. Yeah. I don't just don't do that. I don't know. It seems like beginner athlete 101. But it is like I've seen a lot of people talk about how it sounds like the 1920s or in Ocean's franchise movie, and it sounds baller as hell, but it's also really dumb. It's just wild.
Yeah, I'm excited to like 3, 4, 5 years from now to get like the 30 for 30 that comes out on this or the doc where we get like all the information out packaged perfectly in an hour and 30 minutes for me to like sit on my couch and enjoy. It's also crazy. Terry Rozier career earnings $160 million. You got to think what kind of trouble he's gotten himself into to resort to like needing to tell people about he's going to leave a game. And it sounds like their winnings were only like $200,000, which listen, is a substantial amount of money. But if you're making 160 mil, like that's, I mean, so like, it's not that much in the grand scheme of things. But anyways, before we get into the NHL, got to ask you, the hat, Blue Jays, how are you feeling for the World Series?
I would like to state like perfectly that I am a casual. I'm as casual as it gets. I have for many years spoken about how much I deride baseball. One of my favorite movies is Moneyball. I watch it often. I watched it yesterday, actually. I'm not a baseball guy, but I'm from Toronto. I love Toronto. So when the Jays are in the playoffs, I will watch, I will cheer, I will support this city as much as possible. But I watch the ALCS and I'm like, do I like baseball? Do I love this sport? Like, it's like the line, how can you not be romantic about baseball? Like, how can you not? Like, it was just absolutely electric, the tension. I think after fighting it for so long, like I finally like get it to the point where I am not only excited for the World Series, I'm excited to just keep watching this team, and they have a real fan. I'm hoping to upgrade myself from casual to real fan. I am personally upset though, because I did go to game 2 and that was a game they didn't play super well in, but game 7 was unbelievable. Like everyone knows, I'm a Leaf fan. It is crazy that my favorite Toronto sports moments, like if I had a top 5, none of them involve the Leafs over the last like decade or so. That's crazy to me. Yeah,
it's tough to imagine, especially with how much. I mean, if you were to go back 10 years and tell yourself that, it'd be like, wow, we must have won a lot in this city. But nope, was not the case. Also, banning you from the arena since you were there in game 2. That means you can't go. You can't watch any games live.
I did not get any World Series tickets. Do not worry.
It was crazy, by the way. I know a couple people tried. I tried myself, and I was sticker shocked at the price of these. Anyways, let's dive into some NHL stuff. I only have you here for a couple more minutes. Been 2 weeks now, 2-ish weeks into the season. Let's take a step back. Want to know what your biggest takeaway is from this first couple of weeks of the NHL season?
I think I didn't expect Matthew Schaefer to be like this unreal right out of the gate. I'm not a prospect person. I never know what's happening unless they're like really touted like Bedard or McDavid were. So I didn't know what to expect, but he is amazing already out of the gate. Like I put in my projections. I put him in the projection model to see like how good it already thinks he is after just 6 games. It's like, yeah, this is already a top pair defenseman. This guy, like he's just been nuts. The speed, just everything. He is a game changer for the Islanders, and it's a very exciting time to be that team, given how good he looks like right at the gate. Also, Utah and New Jersey, I think, are 2 teams that maybe might upset the contender hierarchy, where I've had the Devils as a dark horse going in. I thought Utah was maybe just a playoff team, but like they both look like real teams to start.
Yeah, no, for sure. They both look legit too. And have you gotten used to calling them the Mammoths yet, or is that still a transition period for you as well?
I love that name. I love the logo. So I've been a Mammoth head for a while. I'm part of Mammoth Mania, but I still like after a year of writing the Utahs, it's hard not to keep calling them that.
Yeah, fair enough. Matthew Schaefer as well. Agree with you. Been incredible. Reflected in his odds just to score a goal. I've been kind of keeping track of this stuff. He's plus 550 right now to score a goal as a defenseman, which is kind of crazy to begin with. At the start of the season, he was like 14-1, 10-1-ish. They've come down a ton, so they obviously given a lot of respect to Schaefer, who's been incredible. And I feel like Moretto's probably kicking himself because he said Demidov was a Rort for Rookie of the Year, and that's just like, that's not going to be the case. So let's talk a little bit about a couple teams who were kind of at the top of the league right now. We have the Avs, the Knights, the Canes, the Jets. All started the season really well. All top teams, all contenders last year. Who do you feel like is the best team in the NHL right now?
I will take whoever wins the Colorado-Carolina game tonight. I think those are probably the best teams in their conference right now. Avs, I thought going in, this is the deepest team they've had in a while, and I was just really questioning whether Martin Necas could be Rantanen replacement. And 7 games in, it's like, yep, that he's there. He's that good already. Canes, super deep, as we know, but just the way Jarvis has elevated his game and stepped up, I think that top line looks like they actually has some juice, has some sauce, and can be a team that can finally get over the hump. So whoever wins between those two tonight, I will get number 1 spot in the power rankings tomorrow.
All right, makes perfect sense there. Also, you didn't really mention the Vegas Golden Knights, who I think coming into the season I was a little bit higher on, but just looking at their defense core, even though Noah Hanifin is still out, the loss of Pietrangelo obviously is impactful, but like the trickle-down effect really feels like it's felt in this defense core where we kind of expect them to be this world beater. It's still a good decor, but just that loss of 1 seems to have them, I don't want to say struggling a bit, but I think in my head, not as good as I expected them to be.
I'm sure at the trade deadline, they will pick up some defensemen that we never expect them to, and then they'll be the best team in hockey. I would put them 3 right now. I think they're a little step behind those 2, but not by much. I think they look great. Obviously, their schedule has been a bit soft, though.
Yeah, fair enough. Soft schedule to start the season. These teams, though, were supposed to be a part of some soft schedules when you looked ahead at your favorite teams' games coming up. The Montreal Canadiens, Detroit Red Wings, Pittsburgh Penguins. But they've been the opposite of that. They've actually started really well. Which team of these 3 do you buy into the most? Do you think either of them can flirt with winning a division? And how many of them do you think will make the playoffs this year? I know it's early.
I am not buying the Penguins at all. I will wait and see. It's kind of giving like Calgary Flames vibes where you don't expect them to do much and they're like, oh, they're winning. Maybe they get to like 90 points and just ruin their odds of getting Gab McKenna, and then next year they sink like a stone. I don't know. I think that's a very good team, but that second line is way nicer than I expected. Between the Habs and Red Wings, like I lean the Habs, but it's pretty close between both of them. With the state of disarray in the Atlantic, I think both of those teams have an actual shot at making the playoffs. I think I'd put Montreal in there and Detroit still on the outside, but Detroit has been a lot more impressive than I thought they'd be up until getting waxed by the Sabres yesterday.
Yeah, who would have thought Justin Brazeau was going to be a player? But he is. He's good. Like, who would have thought? Anyways, looking at things from the other side, though, a couple teams who have been disappointing: Toronto, Tampa, Florida. Supposed to be the world beaters of their division, and not looking as hot to start the season here. Also kicking myself for not just absolutely fading the Leafs. Was it on Tuesday? Because like obviously those guys were out partying after Game 7. Like, what are we doing here? Like, let's have a little bit of logic here. The second the game ended, I'm like, why didn't I not just? Anyways, are you worried about any of these teams? Toronto, Tampa, Florida. Do you think any of them have? Give me a percentage chance of like which teams you think will miss the playoffs. Like, give me a percentage chance for Toronto, Tampa, and Florida of them missing the playoffs.
I'm worried about all of them. I think they're all a little on the older side. I don't think any of them are a lock for the playoffs. If I had to choose, they're all still making it. But like, we're talking about teams that had 80-90% chance that right now, I think it's a lot closer in the Atlantic with how good Montreal and Red are playing, how much I still believe in my Sabres. I think it's very wide open division. I have Tampa at 80 right now, Florida and Toronto around 65. That does not feel safe for any of those teams. The Leafs, I feel like I'm most worried about just because they look so bland and uninspiring at the moment. But I'm hoping that game on Tuesday was just a hangover game. We'll see what happens next 2 against Buffalo.
Yeah, again, kicking myself for not. I was talking with my friends. I'm like, this is the sleepiest game ever. What the fuck's going on? And it's like, oh, it was Game 7 last night. Oh, we're all hungover. Like, everyone in the city is. All right, let's flip over, talk about your model, your projections. Which of your current projections are you most concerned about being off right now, where you just look at that and just like you feel like, I kind of disagree with this number right here. Is there a team that sticks out to you?
Right now, it has me betting on the Philadelphia Flyers a lot, so that's annoying. Like, I think I have one edge tonight, and it's the Flyers, and it's so It's great that the model is in line with the market for a lot of the teams, but every time the Flyers play, it's like, what if you bet on the Flyers? And it's been going okay, but still not a team I want to put money on. In terms of like overall forecast, though, I keep looking at Utah and where I have them and feeling like I'm low. Even before it started, I know I talked to Thomas Drance a lot, who was super bullish on them, and they look really good to start. The big thing with them last year was they finished strong with I think the league leading XG since the Four Nations break. They've started just as strong in that vein this year, and I still have them around like 93 points as a maybe. And I feel like I'm personally a lot more certain that this team is good compared to the model.
Okay, so we're a little bit higher on Utah and worried about being high on the Flyers here.
Yeah.
All right. Before you head out here, what's something that you're going to be monitoring closely over the next couple of weeks that you've like seen over the first 2 weeks, and you're like, this might be a signal, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. Is there anything you're looking at in particular?
I just wrote about this for a column I do every 2 weeks, 16 stats. Started with the Rangers. I think they're actually good. I know they can't score right now. I know that's a problem with a lot of Mike Sullivan teams, but they are controlling play. The bottom two D pairs don't look as horrible as I thought they would. The fourth line is controlling play with Matt Rempe on the ice. Makes no sense, but I think a team controlling play that much with a power play that theoretically should be good and one of the best goalies in the league could be a wagon. They're just not wagoning right now. So that's what I will be watching to see if those signals are the real deal or if they are just fake stuff from the first 7 games or so.
Okay, keeping an eye on the Rangers then. Makes perfect sense there. Dom, appreciate you coming on. Anything else you like tonight, by the way? I know you mentioned the Flyers. Anything else you want to touch on or for tonight's games?
I want to be clear that I do not like the Flyers.
Sorry.
Just because I am on the Flyers does not mean I like that at all. But I do like the under in that game as well, which also is annoying because I was like, oh, Dan Vladar's starting. Under, baby, let's go. So I'm betting on Rick Tocchet hockey, and I think they've been a better defensive team, but I don't know. It's not ideal.
That's all right. It's not ideal, but you got to stick to the process. That's the most important thing. So anyways, Dom, appreciate you coming on today. Appreciate you chatting. Hopefully we can pick up a win tomorrow for our Blue Jays. We'll talk soon.
Take care.
All right. See ya. Great stuff there. You can follow Dom on Twitter. Link in the description. Twitter's in the description. You can also check out his work over at The Athletic. Great stuff there. The 16 stats articles. Good stuff. Also releases playoff projections every single day over on The Athletic. Before we get into our next guest here, I just want to quickly give a quick shout out, to our sponsors over at FanDuel, because there's a Thursday night football game, and FanDuel is making Week 8 even bigger with a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets this Thursday night. That's right, $2 million. Here's how it works. Opt in and place an anytime touchdown bet on the Chargers versus the Vikings using your profit boost. And if the player you pick scores either the first or last touchdown in the game, you'll earn a share of $2 million in bonus bets, $1 million for each touchdown. Going to take a look at the board because I actually haven't looked at the anytime touchdown board today for the Vikings and Chargers games, but intuitively, someone that I feel like I would like is probably going to be Quentin Johnston because I feel like he might be slightly undervalued. I think players might be piling on Gaston, McConkey, Allen, who scored a touchdown recently, Vidal with Haskins out, Jordan Mason, Justin Jefferson, all those guys very likely to score a touchdown, but I think Quentin Johnston might be left on the sideline here in terms of the amount of people on him to win. Also, maybe take a look at Naheem Hines. No Hassan Haskins. Could be interesting stuff. 11-1 here to score a touchdown over on FanDuel. He also plays special teams, so could be helpful if he can break off and rip off a touchdown. Anyways, it's just one more reason to bet the NFL with FanDuel. So whether you get a feeling about the opening drive or you're banking on a clutch finish, now's the time to get in on the game. Visit FanDuel.com/forward progress to download the app today and get started. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliated with Kansas Star Casino, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/China. Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org. In Maryland, Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600. Visit connexontario.ca. All right. Up next.
Disconnected. Okay.
That's all
One
good.
Sec.
That's all good. He's giving us the 1 second behind the scenes here. Am I still good?
1 sec.
We're good now? Yes. We're good now? Yes. All right, good stuff. All right, he's the co-founder of Just Baseball Media, host of the Not Gambling Advice podcast. Peter Appel, come on up. How's it going?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Good, excited to have you on. Excited to talk World Series baseball. We did it. The Jays did it.
Yes, they did.
We made it.
Incredible.
Before we get into the World Series talk, though, I just want to I'm asking everyone this. I want to get your opinions on this whole gambling cabal arrest. Terry Rozier arrested, Chauncey Billups arrested. I don't know how interested you are in the NBA, but any opinions or thoughts here?
It's funny. I actually just saw that report about 10 minutes ago, so I haven't really formed a thought yet.
Yeah.
I don't really follow the NBA.
Okay.
I am a Knicks fan, but I'm a very casual Knicks fan. My focus more is on Major League Baseball and the NFL. So I would be giving you a very uninformed take, and I don't think that's right for the show.
Fair enough. I appreciate you being honest with that. It's interesting when this stuff comes out because then I also tie it back to thinking about baseball with the Emmanuel Clase investigation. I don't really know what's going to come of that as well. Very interesting stuff here, but feel like legalization, many people think that it makes it harder easier for this stuff to happen, but also on the other side of things, makes this stuff come to light a little bit easier. So two sides to every coin. Let's get into the World Series, though. Super excited to talk about this stuff. My question out the gate, it's got to be Blue Jays centric for me. Who starts game one for the Blue Jays? I've seen a lot of talk where people think that maybe just let Yesevich just go. Just let him go out there for the first game. And then also I'm curious to hear which starting arm for the Jays you think would pose the biggest challenge for the Dodgers.
I think so. The thing which is difficult is that none of these starters based on their stuff profile are going to give the Dodgers a ton of problems. We've already seen it in the postseason so far. The only really pitchers to give the Dodgers troubles are left-handed pitchers, whether that be Christopher Sanchez or Ranger Suarez, with the Philadelphia Phillies, or a couple of left-handed relievers coming out of the pen. The Dodgers are the number one offense in Major League Baseball against combinations of fastballs, splitters, and sliders. Now, who does that? Both Kevin Gausman and Trey Savage. Now, Shane Bieber has a different pitch repertoire. If you look at kind of the stats, maybe he should have a better matchup. The thing is, I think Trey Savage and Kevin Gausman are both pitching better. But just because the Dodgers are number one against that pitch mix doesn't mean that they can't perform, right? The Seattle Mariners were also within the top 10 against that mix. And Kevin Gausman had back-to-back good starts. Trey Savage had one good start, one not so good start. So it's really about, do they have it? For me, I think I would go in Trey Savage game one, just because he's going to be the most rested by the time of that start. And the Dodgers have never seen a guy like him. They've seen Kevin Gausman over the years when he was a San Francisco Giant and he was pitching in their division. And also they saw him this year. Trey Savage, they've never seen before. He's got the highest release point in Major League Baseball. So while the Dodgers match up well against him by the numbers, they haven't seen his exact repertoire because he is so funky. So if I'm the Blue Jays, I'm giving it to Trey Savage. Again, it's not a road start or anything in LA. It's at home where he's thrown basically all of his postseason starts so far. I would go with Trey Savage.
I love that answer, and I love the idea of going with Savage first because he is kind of, like he said, he's built for these moments. He has that swagger. He has that aura. He's still young, but like at 22 or 23 years old, however old he is, I think he might be younger. He just has that swagger. That he's just able to go up to the mound and just say like, I know I'm better than you. I'm going to beat you. And I want to give him that opportunity to do it in game one instead of maybe having a little bit more pressure on him in game two. If the Jays do lose game one, then you're down 0-2. It's kind of like a pressureless situation where just throw him into the fire, throw him in the deep end, see if he can swim. Flipping over to the other side of the ball for the Blue Jays, Bo Bichette said that he'll likely be ready to play. Now, that poses an interesting question because when he comes in, where does he play? You don't want to move Springer out of DH. He's been great there. Do you do that, push him to the outfield, take out one of Straw or Barger or someone like that? Do you move him to second base, shortstop? Where do you think Bo fits well in this lineup? Or do you think they kind of just sit on him a little bit, let him come in as a pinch hitter late in games? What's your opinion on Bo here?
So this is something that we've been talking about at length on my show, the Just Baseball show, and we're all a little bit confused, but here's our best guess. But the funny part is, I don't think that this will be the lineup for game one because you have Blake Snell, the lefty, and let me explain. So I think Bo Bichette is already a poor defender. So if you're already a poor defender and you're coming off a knee issue and you're not going to be able to move laterally as much, it doesn't really make sense to put you at short, and it really doesn't make sense to put you in the infield at all. And because Bo Bichette is not an outfielder, I understand that it might be easier on his body. You don't want to put a guy who's never played that position and just throw him out in the outfield and in a World Series type environment. I think that's too much for him. So what I think the Blue Jays are going to do for the majority of this series, because they're going to face mostly right-handers, is put Bichette at DH, put Springer in right field, put Addison Barger at third. That's a position he's played before. Put Ernie Clement at second base and Andres Jimenez at shortstop. That up the middle duo has been doing it multiple times in the postseason. Barger has played third before. Springer has played over 40 games in right field this year. And then you have Bichette. Just all we need from you is to swing the bat. Now, against the lefty, you're probably not going to start Addison Barger anyway. So that means you're probably going to put a Davis Schneider in, and then you can move around guys a little bit more around the infield. But I would say that's going to be my guess for the typical lineup the Blue Jays put out there.
Of course, yeah. It's pretty interesting to see how they're going to navigate that. Obviously, like, you don't want to change the lineup. You don't want to shake things up at all. But, like, Bo Bichette's incredible. Like, he's going to force your hand. So you're going to have to shake things up. You're going to have someone come out of this lineup here. But, yeah, so you talked about Blake Snell. He is announced already as the game one starter. Who do you feel like for the Dodgers is their most vulnerable pitcher? It seems like you're hinting towards Blake Snell against this Jays lineup, or is there just no vulnerabilities there with how good their starters are?
No, I'm actually trying not to hint towards Blake Snell. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I think he's going to dominate.
Okay.
He already did against the Blue Jays this season. He went 5 innings, 10 strikeouts, no earned runs, just faced the minimum against the Milwaukee Brewers. And, he's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner who his blood runs cold. He's not afraid of this moment. He does not care about Toronto. I'm just putting that out there now. He can go into Philly and do that. He can go into Milwaukee. He can go in anywhere and dominate. So I think probably the most nervous I would be for a Dodgers pitcher would be Tyler Glasnow. And the reason I say that is Glasnow is the type of pitcher where you either see him or you don't. It is that fastball at the top of the zone with heavy extension off the mound. And what I mean by that is for the hitter, it feels like you're seeing the ball closer to the plate because his 6'6" frame is extending so far down the mound. And then, of course, he has that big curveball. Some guys just see it better than others. And the Blue Jays have actually done a good job in their history against Tyler Glasnow. If we remember, he was a Tampa Bay Ray, so they've seen him plenty of times, kind of like the Blue Jays against the LA Dodgers being a former Giant. And his 2 starts so far have been in the afternoon at Dodger Stadium. Now, what does that mean? That might sound like that doesn't matter. It does specifically at Dodger Stadium. The shadows play a huge effect. Imagine facing Tyler Glasnow, but there's a shadow halfway down the infield. So you only see spin for a split second, and then it disappears into the shadows. He has been so good in both of those. Now he's going to face the Blue Jays at night, likely in a game 3 where I expect the Dodgers to go up early. But what I also expect from the Blue Jays is to continue to show that edge, backs against the wall. They always perform. So I think that game 3 for the Blue Jays is going to be a winner for them, and I think they'll be able to hit glass. Now, the problem is then you have game 4, Scherzer or Bassett against Shohei Ohtani. How can you pick against what I believe to be the best player of all time?
It's going to be a tough one there. I think you got to go with Scherzer, though, in that scenario. I don't know how the matchup would be for him, but it's just he was electric when he was out there in game 4 for us in the last series. He has the dog factor in him. Don't know how much that weighs into things, but got to go with the crazy guy for the Jays. And I'm hoping we can at least either close the series out quick or bring it back home from game 6 and 7 just for morale of the city. It just feels good enjoying these watching these postseason games, watching these World Series games. But yeah, for majority of us young kids in the Greater Toronto area, we have not seen World Series baseball in Toronto since I think it's been 32 years. So a lot of us have been starved of it. So quickly before I let you head out here, give me your prediction for the World Series. I know you're holding some Dodgers tickets if I do remember correctly, but give me your predictions, how many games, and who you have to win MVP.
I hate to do it to you.
It's okay.
I know you're a Blue Jays
okay.
fan, and I know there's some definitely some Canadians watching. What I will say is Blue Jays have a shot. Anything can happen. It's baseball. That's why it's the best game, in my opinion, that there is. And one thing working in the Blue Jays' favor is there's only been 5 instances where a team through the league championship series has swept and the other team went to a game 7. The team who went to the game 7 has won the World Series in all 4 instances. So this will be the 5th. So you got history on your side, or at least 4 instances of it. I do have Dodgers in 5. And I also have a mountain of money on the Dodgers. And it has nothing really to do with the Blue Jays. I bet this before the playoffs started. I bet it at plus 550. Then I saw how they were playing against the Phillies and how they weren't even playing well. And they were beating what I believe to be the second best team in the playoffs. So I added again. Then before the Brewers series, I said, I think they're going to sweep the Brewers. Why not add again? So I did. But I also, and I'm giving credit to the Blue Jays, I picked a Dodgers versus Blue Jays exact bet at plus 850, Dodgers over Blue Jays. So if the Dodgers do beat the Blue Jays, I will be a 14.1 unit winner. So I am very, very invested in the Dodgers. And I just think it's more credit to them. I think that this has the potential to be the best team I've ever seen. And the reason I say that is you go through postseason rotations throughout MLB history. I think back to the 2019 Astros with Verlander and Garrett Cole and Zach Greinke. They didn't have a 4th like Ohtani. I think to the 1998 Braves with Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. They didn't have a 4 like Shohei Ohtani. And you look at their lineup, it's led off by the greatest player, I think, of my generation. You have a modern-day Derek Jeter who might end up being better. You have a World Series MVP and a future Hall of Famer in Freddie Freeman, second-best catcher in baseball, all-time postseason performer, a 40 home run threat, an NLCS MVP, one of the other great postseason performers in Kike Hernandez, and your 9-hitter was playing at an all-star level to start the season. It's an overwhelming team. Dodgers in 5.
All right, Dodgers in 5. I gotta before you head out here, who do you have to win the MVP? I gotta ask you that as well.
I think a great long shot is Max Muncy. He's at 30-1 right now in the market, and ever since he put on glasses on April 30th, from May 1st on, he was the 8th best hitter in baseball by WRC plus. Figures, right? He can actually see the ball. He's a 40 home run threat. You expect a lot of the guys in the Dodgers lineup to be up in front of him. He's one of the odds leaders to lead the series in RBIs. And of course, he is a 40 home run threat when he's feeling it. He's also a proven postseason performer with an OPS at about 821 over 70 plus postseason games. I think that the odds are just completely off for him. He is a really, really good player. He just happens to hit 7th in the Dodgers lineup. But if he hits a couple balls out, the series goes short, and there's not really a lot of people to choose from. I think Max Muncy at 30-1 is great value. All
right, Max Muncy, 30-1. Last question before you get out here. We have a Blue Jays Shohei Ohtani jersey. Can I wear that, or am I not allowed to wear that?
You cannot wear that.
Okay.
You cannot wear that.
Okay. I just have to ask. Peter, appreciate you joining us here. Reminder, you can find Peter's Twitter in the description down below. We'll chat soon.
Thanks so much.
All right. All the best on the Dodgers. I mean, I hope the Jays win. Hope they win. But it is what it is. It's going to be a fun World Series nonetheless. We get extra baseball, so that's all I really care about. So we get some postseason action. It's been a great postseason so far. Just the camaraderie of like your city winning, being with your friends.
It's already been great already.
It's already been great.
Like,
it's been great already.
This is just bonus at this point. You can happily, like, the Jays lose to the Dodgers, you will not feel like, oh my God, like what could have been. I guess you could feel that way, but like it's acceptable that they've gotten this far, and if they lose to the Dodgers.
Of course. One person who will not feel that way. Yeah. He's not from the Toronto area, but he'll definitely be like, oh my God, I lost a lot. Like missed out on some great winnings.
Well, I already did win a bunch.
He did win a bunch of money on this, but we got Hitman coming up. He's one of the best prop bettors I know, and he has, I believe, to win over $100,000 on the Jays to win the World Series. So he's an honorary Torontonian for the next week and a bit. Hitman, how's it going?
The rare time I gotta root for all you Canadians. You know, we're gonna make it worth it.
We're definitely gonna make it worth it. You're gonna come out for Game 2, I believe. You're getting a box for us, for everyone at the Hammer. You're treating us for how great.
If it wasn't during football, maybe I would come out, but I can't leave, Jason. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, just have to make it up for me in another way.
The off season.
All right, we'll make it up in the off season. Quickly,
maybe I'll go to Banner Day.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be a fun one. All right. Before we get into things here, I want to quickly ask: do you have any opinions or thoughts or anything on this whole Terry Rozier? Chauncey Billups stuff, or are you just like so locked in because it's a Thursday that you haven't even looked?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't like looked into like the full details about it, but I mean, there's more of this going on. Like I'm sure like if they that, you know, like, and I guess there's one argument that now that sports betting's legalized, you can catch it a lot easier, but then the other argument is now with so many betting options available that you're more prone to do this.
Of course.
That now that it's so public. But I don't know. Selfishly, the first place my mind went to when this happened is I said, shit, I hope they don't start minimizing the menus at these books. And I hope that there's not people that are saying to put up less prop bets and stuff like that. So that's the first place that my mind went to, selfishly.
Yeah. No, that's completely fair. It's also, like, I know this is, you do a lot of NFL stuff, and I know you sometimes do NBA stuff as well. I think it was Adam Silver talked about 2 days ago, talking about how he kind of wants to, I don't know, mention just potentially limiting the amount of
he mentioned like two-way players not having prop lines, and like they want to just, I don't know.
It's frustrating though, because if you're good at modeling and predicting minutes, excuse me, you can kind of take advantage of those.
Yeah, personally, like my biggest edge in the NFL player props is when it's like a third, fourth string receiver or something like that. Like it's gonna, if that ever did happen, it's gonna get a lot harder to win if there's only lines up on the starting five in an NBA game or something like that. So, but it's also like the sports books, you know, like they take. Like people are like, well, how did they get $200,000 down and everything? It's because like some of these books have no care in the world about responsible gaming. And when there's a whale account, like I've seen whale accounts bet $50,000 on NBA, on summer league stuff, like props and like WNBA player props and stuff. So like when there's whale accounts like that out there, when the limit for one person is 100,000 and the limit for another person is $1.33. Like stuff like this can happen.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, because I saw some tweets out there, people shocked like, how do you get $200,000 down? I mean, it's not too hard if you have a VIP account, like you mentioned. It's not too hard. You just got to find the accounts, and
exactly.
Especially if it's linked to like some mob stuff, you got to think that some of these guys have some money lying around anyways. They're willing to throw out and get access to VIP accounts. Anyways, let's get into tonight's game though. A little bit more NFL stuff to talk about, which is crazy because usually the NFL doesn't get trumped by anything. But I haven't really thought about this Thursday night football game all day because of this betting scandal. I was kind of just like reading into that more and more. Couple of things here for the Chargers. Hassan Haskins is out. I want to talk about the running back situation here. Also, Joe Alt questionable. Any lean on if you think he's going to play or not? What number one?
Yeah, I lean that Joe Alt's playing.
Okay, lean that Joe Alt's playing. How do you think that affects the running back room? Is it all go for Kamani Vidal here, or do you think that maybe Naheem Hines can get in some work?
I don't know. I mean, Naheem Hines profiles more as a scat back. So I kind of think that Vidal is going to be pretty much the workhorse in this game. If Vidal does lose anything, it might be some third and long stuff or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I'm kind of interested to see how the game plan changes for the Chargers if they do have offensive linemen back in this game, because they haven't been able to run the ball at all with the offensive line injuries. They've been pretty much just like short passing game. And Herbert has been getting absolutely like demolished. Like the Colts got a 57% pressure rate on him last week, which is insanely high. So I kind of think there's a chance that maybe like if their line is healthy, that the Chargers try to get back maybe to a little bit more of like their deep passing game or something. But that's just kind of me just spitballing on it, that maybe the Chargers go back to how they were playing early in the year before the offensive line injuries.
Yeah,
the deep passing game.
Well, we know that how much this Minnesota teams, how much Brian Flores likes to blitz. So if this offensive line can hold up for just an extra half second here, Justin Herbert can hold on, get the ball out a little bit, take his time, but still get the ball out quick. You could potentially beat them deep. Quentin Johnson is someone who I was looking at to score a touchdown. I want to talk about this wide receiver room, pass catching room for the Los Angeles Chargers here. We kind of saw Oronde Gaston. Am I pronouncing it Gadsden?
Yeah,
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Anyways, we saw him kind of go off in the last 2 weeks, getting a ton of targets. Obviously, Quentin Johnson was kind of nursing his way back from an injury. His line is at 42.5 right now, on par with Johnson, Allen, and Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey 55.5, Keenan Allen 49.5, Quentin Johnson 49.5, Gadsden 42.5. Do you feel like those numbers are about right? Do you have like a look on who you think maybe is too high or too low in this Chargers pass catching group? Excuse me.
Yeah, Gadsden's been getting bet over since the opener. He opened 37.5, and he got as high up to 46.5 at one shop that I looked at today. Once we get to like the 45.5, 46.5, that's probably where I'm leaning under on Gadsden. Despite the monster game last week, remember, like a lot of the Chargers guys were inflated because just how many pass attempts they've been having. Like Justin Herbert dropped back, I think 61 times or something insane in that game. And I mean, Gadsden only had like a 16% target share last week in that game. So I kind of think he might be the guy that's a little bit inflated. Quentin Johnson's also been a guy that I've been looking at with some unders as well. Like not this week, but I played him under last week, kind of directionally leaned under this week, just because with the offensive line issues, he's been the guy that suffered since he's more of like the deep vertical passing game guy. But if Alt and Pipkins are back, that changes a little bit. So I haven't bet much at all for this game, but that's kind of like directionally where I'm leaning, is maybe like a Gadsden under if it's in the mid 40s.
All right, Gadsden under. And then you talked about maybe deep threats here.
The 42.5 at FanDuel.
It's a little too.
That would be they're on the low end right now.
Okay, all right. But you talked about deep threats, and I with this offense, I think Quentin Johnson as the deep threat. Would you be interested in some, not really inverse correlation, but I guess it's correlated outcome here, where you find a better number on Gadsden's under and maybe hit some alt for Quentin Johnson overs?
No, because Johnson, I kind of lean under, to be honest. Maybe, well, yeah, Johnson. A lot depends on the O-line stuff, though. Like if the O-line is banged up again, Johnson just hasn't had time to get down the field, and he's like their long A-dot receiver. So, yeah, I think that O-line stuff's important as far as Quentin Johnson is concerned.
All right. Seems like flipping over to the other side of the ball, Minnesota Vikings are starting Carson Wentz. There's a little bit of a question mark there as to who would be the quarterback this week. Do you think there's a percentage chance that he doesn't play the full game here, regardless of injury, maybe just getting pulled for poor performance?
I've thought about it, but I would be really surprised
Okay.
if he didn't. It has been in the back of my mind. It's probably enough that would not have me play any Wentz overs, even if I was showing a little bit of value. But I would be pretty surprised.
All right. Total in the game right now is at 44.5. Line is 3 minus 120, slightly juiced for the Chargers. Are you shocked at this number at all? For like, I know it's game day and you don't want to tell the market that they're wrong, but personally, I'm a little bit higher on the Chargers than it seems like the market is. Are you surprised by this number?
I mean, I've been betting. I've been higher on the Vikings all year, and I've paid for it so far. I think I bet against them once, I won, and I bet on them 3 times, and I'm 1-2. But I have some futures on them that probably aren't going to win, like NFC North stuff, long shot stuff. With the Vikings offensive line, I kind of lean the Vikings this game, especially when it was at 3.5. I think there still is some 3.5s, like maybe minus 115s out there or something. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the Vikings O-line stuff is freaking concerning. Like with Brian O'Neill, we don't know what his status is going to be. Christian Darrisaw might need a pregame workout. They're already without their starting center. I can't get behind Minnesota, right? Even though I lean towards them in this game, I can't get behind them with the offensive line stuff. And plus the Chargers are getting guys back. So like initially early in the week, I thought I might be involved on Minnesota. But then the Darrisaw stuff came out, the O'Neill stuff came out. The Chargers seem like they're getting positive injury info. That pretty much makes this game a pass for me, despite me thinking I was going to like Minnesota at one point.
There's 3.5 minus 110s out there on Minnesota, minus 118, 120-ish numbers kind of across the board here on that.
Yeah, that's kind of like my way. Like maybe in like some pools I'm in and shit, yeah. I play Minnesota plus 3.5, but I don't have much interest.
All right. Let's take a step back and look at some anytime touchdown scores. Obviously, the $2 million jackpot, which we talked about here on the show over at our sponsors over at FanDuel. If they hit the first touchdown, you get a share of $1 million split between the people who bet on that player to score a touchdown, and also if you hit the last touchdown score, if you bet on them anytime, you get another share of $1 million. Is there anyone you like or have a lean towards to have the first or last touchdown here? Anyone interesting?
You know what, Jason? I really got to start preparing because I know you're going to ask me that. And I never look at it beforehand. So do me a favor. Pull up the anytime touchdown stuff.
Intuitively speaking, I'll just talk it through with you right now. I mentioned Quentin Johnson a little bit earlier just because I feel like part of this is like a game theory thing. You don't want to be on the guy who or be on the player who everyone has like picked, right? You want to be on someone who maybe isn't as popular of a pick because then you get a higher share of the bonus bets. It's not about just hitting the anytime touchdown score. It's about maximizing the amount of bonus bets you get. I feel like Quentin Johnson might be a lower owned person at plus 170 to score a touchdown right now. I also mentioned towards the back, Nyheim Hines, 11-1. Just if they want to work in a rotation of running backs here, maybe the game gets a little bit out of hand. They want to rest Commander Vidal.
Yeah, Hines would be the guy that I think I would like the most out of everybody.
Okay, 11-1 right now.
11-1 on a backup running back with a not so great starter is
seems a little crazy.
All
right. Well,
I mean, to say that like Nyheim Hines is the same odds to score a touchdown as Darius Davis, in my opinion, is just I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me.
Correct. Also, like small thing, but I'm pretty sure Nyheim Hines has been like returning kicks. No, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know on the spot.
All right. Well, if he is returning kicks, I'm pretty sure he is. It would help a lot. It would help a lot. I think I mentioned that he was. It's like the smallest thing, but anytime you can get the ball in your hands is helpful, especially when you want to score a touchdown. Quickly before you head out here, I built a little SGP. I'm going to ask you to rate it 1 through 10. Starts with Quentin Johnson and Oronde Gadsden's under. So under 49.5, under 42.5. Going to do some negative correlation here. Get Justin Herbert 300 plus passing yards. And then I'm going to pair it as well with the Chargers -3, -120. And that takes me to 46-1 at FanDuel Sportsbook. 1 to 10. What are you giving it?
4.
4. Okay. What part don't you like?
The Chargers, I just kind of lean the other way. I gun the head, lean the other way.
All right. Well,
that would be it. I mean, the other negative correlation stuff I don't hate.
Okay. Well, you can take out the Chargers and you can get 29-1 on that. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we take out the Chargers and just do 29-1. That's more of an 9 out of 10.
Yeah, we'll give that a 7.
All right, perfect. You cannot just give me that one little bit. Eh? Well, anyways, hey man, appreciate you joining us the show here today. You're gonna be on with us later tonight in the fourth quarter.
Live plays have done very well this year.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we have anything.
All right, perfect.
No guarantee that we do, but we'll see.
All right, so you're giving out 2 then, because I'm working tonight, so maybe you're gonna give out none, because apparently you don't give out any when I'm working, but when I'm not on, that's when you save your best plays, is what I'm told. So anyways, hey man, appreciate you joining the show, and hopefully we can get a big win for you tomorrow for the Toronto Blue Jays. So appreciate you. Talk soon.
Thank you.
See you later tonight. Great stuff there from the Hitman. Great stuff. Great show for today. One's in the chat. If you enjoyed this one, Mason at +130. The only reason why I don't if you just want to bet him to score a touchdown, that seems like it's a good price. Let me just quickly check the board here. +130s. Yeah, like one of the better prices, and definitely one of the better prices in market for sure. So if you like Mason, that's good. But if you're doing it for the $1 million draw, I feel like I like to swing big. I want to get like $1,000, $1,500 in bonus bets. I don't want like $10 in bonus bets. Like that kind of defeats the whole purpose of it. So like that's why I'm leaning towards Nyheim Hines. That wraps up today's show. Oh wait, Edric overtime. Let's flip over. Let's talk some hockey. Let's see some Edgers in the chat. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're here because you guys asked for it, and I've been edging you guys for the full hour. And yeah, we're ready to get into things here. Quick reminder before we get into things though, Alex has an executive order on my table right now, on my plate. He says, we can't start this unless we get more likes on the stream. So do us a huge favor. Make sure you like that screen, this stream. It goes a long way for us here on the channel. And if you enjoyed the show as well, do us a favor. Comment down below. Say, hey, I enjoyed this stuff. Feel like Hitman's a good guest, or Dom's a good guest, or Peter's a good guest. It's great stuff here. Anyways, let's get into things. Cedric Overtime, starting right now. Alex Moretto, So Money Sports, joining the show today. What's going on, guys?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're excited. Before we get into things, I've asked every single guest that's come on here. So Money, we'll start with you. Any opinion or take on this Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups thing, whole betting thing, scandal?
I mean, it's been happening for years. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, this is something that isn't new. It's surprising. It's surprising to people because it's being reported, but it's something that's been going on for years and years. Professional athletes, players, coaches, they bet and they gamble. It shouldn't come as a big surprise.
All right, fair enough. Moretto, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I don't like the whole narrative that comes out of these where it's like legalization has killed everything. I don't think it. I mean, obviously, like, yeah, sure, the SGPs didn't exist once upon a time, but like this stuff's been going on forever. I mean, you know, it was all I'm sure it was more prevalent back in the day as well. It's a lot easier to get caught these days with all the technology too. There's more technology that helps you cheat, but there's also more technology that helps catch the cheaters. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really an NBA guy, so like I don't really have anything to add there. But you don't see this happen in the NHL. I'll say that.
It's definitely a lot harder to do in the NHL. I'll tell you that for free. Let's flip over and talk the NHL. I just want to quickly say though, if hopefully we have no negative backlash in terms of like the prop options that are available for us, because I think that would hurt a lot of us in the space, make things a lot harder for us in the space, and a lot less enjoyable too. Like I like doing this stuff. I like talking about this stuff. So, anyways, before we get into any of the games tonight, I kind of alluded to it off the top with Dom. Remember, you called Demidov to win the Rookie of the Year. A Rort, I believe, is what you said. And the chat wanted some like no prices. They unfortunately couldn't get any. But Calder seems like it's not Demidov's award to win anymore. It seems like it's Schaefer's award to lose. So Demidov right now plus 400, Schaefer plus 120. Massive swing. Give me your thoughts on this.
All dismiss what Schaefer has done so far. That kid is a stud. He is a fantastic, fantastic hockey player, and he is going to be a fantastic hockey player in this league for a long time. We've seen the highlights that Demidov can pull off as well. Set up the OT winner last night, put it on a platter for Matheson, scored that unbelievable goal to tie the game late against Seattle. We know what he can do as well. They're both very, very talented players. The reason I still think Demidov is obviously less of a Rourke than I said earlier in the season, but the reason I still feel very confidently in Demidov winning the Calder this year is because he played 71 games in the KHL last year, came over to the NHL, played 7 games in the NHL, all against men in both of these leagues. That's a full season of games. He knows what the grind of a long season against much stronger, older, professional men, I guess I can say, is like. Schaefer does not have that. Schaefer played 17 games last year in the OHL. He was injured. He did not play. The year before, he played 56 games in the OHL against kids. That's the most hockey he's played in a season in his life. And now you expect him to come in here in the NHL and be able to keep this up in the grind of an NHL season over 82 games. There is no chance, as good as he is and as talented as he is, there is no chance that there aren't significant dips in his game throughout the season. And I think that's going to hurt him drastically. I love that he's starting the season this way because I do think this has just opened up more opportunity to bet Demidov. And that is not like a biased Habs take. That is just a fact in that, like, if he can keep this up over 82 games, having never played that much hockey in his life, and now to also do it at this level, credit to him. He's superhuman. He's like no one we've ever seen before, but like that is pretty much unprecedented. We see guys that are like in their 3rd, 4th year in the league still kind of struggle to maintain the level you need to be at to perform in the NHL on a consistent basis. I can't imagine he's going to do it at his age, given the amount of hockey he's played in his life. So I think there's going to be some real growing pains as we go forward here. I think Demidov plus 400 at FanDuel is the best I've seen in market. I was betting plus 300s this morning as well. So I still love it. And that is my stance here. I'm not wavering one bit.
All right. Going down with the ship. I love it. Only problem I see here is I understand your point of view where maybe he doesn't have the longevity to win the award and maybe he'll struggle, but I'm just looking at their time on ice and that doesn't really mean much, but I mean, it does because they're on the ice and you can make plays when you're on the ice. Demidov's only averaging 14 minutes of ice time, whereas Schaefer obviously is a defenseman, but 22 minutes. I feel like that's going to be a large factor in things. Are you worried at all about how little ice time Demidov is getting to start the season? Because part of the handicap to start the year was that he was going to be playing a lot more than people expected, and it doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
Yeah, so 2 things I'll say to that. One, I think the amount of minutes Schaefer's playing is only going to enhance the point I just made about how he's going to fade out a little bit because he hasn't played that much. 2, Demidov's minutes are going to come up. Habs have taken a lot of penalties over the last few games, which have hurt his numbers. Obviously, he doesn't kill penalties. Last night, he didn't get to play too much because they spent pretty much the whole second period shorthanded. That's kind of been a theme for them a little bit in the last few games. Also, St. Louis has not changed his lines up. He's been very reluctant because they keep winning. They're not going to keep winning. Obviously, they're not, going to go 6-2 over every 8-game sample the rest of the season. They're going to go through some rougher stretches. He's going to be forced to move the lines around. The only reason Demidov's still playing with Newhook and Kapanen is because of the fact that they're winning games and he doesn't want to change things. As soon as they start losing a couple of games, we're going to see a shift, and he's going to be playing with Bolduc. He's going to be playing with Doc. Things are going to be moved around where there's like an actual true second line as opposed to the top line and everything spread out beyond that. I think that will increase his minutes. Also, the power play is struggling right now. Demidov has been electric every time he has the puck on his stick. Same thing as Hudson last year. Hudson didn't get moved over to power play 1 until like November. Everyone was screaming about it happening earlier. It didn't happen. Finally, Marty made the change. Demidov will be on PP1 soon. That's only going to up his point total. That's going to up his minutes, everything. So I think that we see the best is yet to come still for Demidov.
Okay, best yet to come for Demidov. So Money, you've been sitting patiently in the background there. Anything you like in terms of the Calder here for Demidov, Schaefer, or looking at anyone back of the board, or you're just kind of staying off this?
I feel like Alex is going to start yelling at me here. If I don't.
Go say your mind. Speak your mind, please.
Well, I'll speak my mind. But it's I can see Alex's point. It is a long season. The kid doesn't have Schaefer. I mean, he doesn't have he doesn't have any experience going through a full season. And I see his point about Demidov. The ice time was the only concern for me. That's a team that has a lot of pieces in place where they don't need to push him more than he needs right now. He can slot into an ice time that would be good for him, and would be good for the team long term. So, yeah, I see Alex's point there. I like Jimmy Snuggerud at 14-1. Um, I saw him live. Love his speed, and I also think that he's going he needs to produce in that lineup for the Blues to be successful. So it's not like the Habs where Demidov has other pieces around him that could make the Habs successful. Snuggerud needs to put up the numbers in order for the Blues to be successful. So he's a guy kind of in like the mid range at 14-1 on FanDuel right now. So he's the kind of guy that I've got my eye on in this market.
Of course, Snuggerud, great player, great goal scorer. Playing on a team, playing on a line that's going to play fast, play fun. If you can pick it up towards like as the year goes on, could be an interesting one there. I think around 13-14-1 over on FanDuel. Let's get into the games right now. So, Money, you didn't send me your game, so we're going to be working by the seat of our pants right now for this. But, Alex, I know what you like. Let's start with the Chicago Blackhawks and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, Money, anything you like in this game?
Small over. I think that even concern would be that Tampa Bay has had some time off, so that could play into it. Also, I know that they want to show up defensively, but the thing is that you're playing Chicago, right? Like you can name your score in this particular situation. Although Chicago has shown a lot of improvement this year, but Chicago wants to get after it. I don't know if Tampa Bay necessarily wants to shut it down this game. I think both goaltenders are should be under goalies at this point. But the number already reflects that in us getting a flat 6 on the over here right now.
All right, flat 6, minus 122 available basically across the board. Minus 112's out there, minus 117 on these flat 6. They're starting to go, though, so if you want them, you're going to want to scoot them up soon. Up next, Alex, I know you like the Pittsburgh and Florida total. You like it towards the under. We've seen it move quite a bit here. Minus 115, minus 110-ish across the board. You still in for that Pittsburgh and Florida under?
Yeah, honestly, it hasn't moved like too much. A little bit. I'm still fine. Yeah, there's a lot of minus 110s even available, which I think is good. I know I bet the Pittsburgh over the other night, and I know this is like kind of an over team to start the season. They're generating offense against like plug your ears so money, but like bad Canucks, Sharks, Ducks, Isles teams. This is a step up. Let's see them do it against Florida. I don't think they can. Florida, obviously, like, trying to steady the ship a little bit here. The way they know how to do that is to play good defensive hockey. I think they should. I just want to sell on this Pittsburgh offense. It's been like scoring away, but like Justin Brazeau, believe it or not, is probably not the best player in the NHL, despite what he's done to start the season. I would have to say maybe he's not. We'll find out. But yeah, Florida should be able to control this game. Really assert themselves. They're not exactly generating a ton. They're obviously, pretty banged up front. So I like this under 6. I think this is going to be a tighter game. We're getting a little bit high on these Florida totals. I think a little overreaction to the start of the season and for both these teams, which is why I think we're sitting at the number we're at right now.
All right. Sounds good. Looking towards the under there for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Florida Panthers game here. Let's talk Sharks Rangers. Sharks still looking for their first win. Wonder if they're still willing to donate some kids to get a win, or if that's off the table now. Maybe played that card a little too early in the season. Sharks plus 215, 220-ish, 230-ish across the board here. Anything you like in this game so much? Do you think the Sharks are able to pick up their first win here?
No. I do. I like this Rangers team this year. Even with the way that they've played, I should say the way that they played, the results they've been getting. because I think that a lot of their play has been improving. It's tough under Sullivan's system, right? Like it's like a brand new system that it's going to take some time. So I do like the way that the Rangers are coming along. I think that they're primed for a offensive breakout. And I think San Jose might be the team that helps them out. So I did play the over here. I like the over 6. And it's one of those situations where if the Rangers can't do it tonight and break out offensively on a consistent basis starting tonight, I'll have to reconsider my stance on them.
All right, Rangers, you looking like you're leaning towards them. Unfortunately, Sharks, for them, not getting their win tonight. Maybe they'll get it at some point in the future. Fun little thing on FanDuel. You can bet the first win for the San Jose Sharks. There's a market out there. So if you think they're going to stink really bad and you think you have a good idea of when they're going to win their next game, you can do it over on FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's flip over and talk Philadelphia and Ottawa Senators Flyers. Alex, you like the under in this game. We're starting to see some – you like the under at 6. We're starting to see some 5.5 flashes, but there's still some -110s, -113s available at the flat 6. You still like that there?
Yeah. There's even like some pretty big plus money 5.5, which I think is decent. This has kind of run a little bit since the show started, but like again, not to a point where I'm not comfortable playing it. I think we're still good here. I talked about this before that I think Ottawa's an under team, and I think Ottawa is going to get back to that very soon. They are playing like an under team. Their scores are just not reflecting that because they haven't been able to buy a save. But Ullmark showed some flashes in the last game, like he's starting to figure things out against the Oilers. He was better. He wasn't necessarily good, but he was definitely better. So hopefully that's, a sign of what's to come for him there. But yeah, neither team is really generating a whole lot. Obviously, like the way the Flyers are playing right now under Tocchet, it's a very different brand of hockey. It's one of the small sample sizes early on that I'm willing to kind of react quicker to and put some actual real stock into. I do think that this is like a lot more signal than noise. They want to be a strong defensive team under Tocchet. They were very much not that last year. They were kind of a mess defensively. Goaltending was a mess. They're getting better goaltending. Do I trust Vladar? No, but like I think both these teams want to play some low event hockey, and good matchup for them to kind of flash that. So under 6, there's -110, -113s, plus like some sizable plus money, plus 105s up to plus 110 at 5.5s as well. I don't mind those either. So that's the look here.
Plus 115 available as well at a 5.5, but don't know how much you can get down there. Let's see what we got next. Next is the Red Wings taking on the Islanders. The aforementioned Matthew Schaefer playing in this game. Going to be a lot of fun to watch. Good hockey to watch here. So money. You like anything in this game, or is this a pass for you?
This one, I think that the Islanders, Islanders are a difficult team because they haven't gotten the results, but I don't hate them. I think that the number is it's pretty fair here. Unfortunately, I did miss the best of it on the Wings, so I think it's been adjusted too much with their back-to-back and all that. So I'm kind of hoping that I am hoping that we get a better number on the Wings going forward. If we get to the plus 120 range, plus 122, I will bet the Wings. But unfortunately, right now, I have to sit this one out.
Plus 118 right now on FanDuel, so very, very close to that plus 120. Maybe we can get a tick towards that for you, so you can go and hammer the Wings home. Up next, Blues taking on the Mammoth. Moretto, you like a side in this game. Which side and why?
Yeah, it's fun coming on here and hyping up the Blues after Dom just came on and talked about how much he likes Utah. I know a lot of people like Utah. I get it. They've looked good. I'm not quite there, though, on them. I still think that there are some flaws with this team that haven't necessarily showed, because I'm not even going to say just because their schedule has been lighter, because they did obviously play the Avs twice. And they were very good in both of those. I think they kind of caught the Avs at a good time in that last game in Utah. But like Yeah, I know Hofer starting here. I'm not overly concerned about that. I honestly was hoping that the market I was expecting Hofer, and I thought the market would react and we'd get an even better number on the Blues. But the market did not react, and we did not get a better number on the Blues. So it is what it is. I still like St. Louis. I think this is a really good team. They're playing really good hockey. That game against the Blackhawks was an anomaly. But like the market, like we saw, I bet the Kings the other night against St. Louis, right? And that was on Tuesday. And like the market is telling us here that like the Utah is significantly better than the Kings. And there's no way, shape, or form that I can get behind that. I still think the Blues are a good hockey team. I think they're a better hockey team than Utah. They're at home here. The minus 115s there are good for me. I thought we'd get cheaper. I still think it's possible because Utah is probably the only team that the market seems to love more than the Blues. So maybe like we see the like money pouring in the 30 minutes between, puck drop at like 7:30 to 8. We've seen a lot of that lately, especially in the Utah games, and some other teams have taken a lot of money in the 30 minutes before post, which has not necessarily ended well for the people that are flooding the market at that time. But I think it's possible you end up getting a better number here. But even if not, I'm good with the 115s.
All right, 115 is pretty widely available on this St. Louis team. Let's flip over and talk So Money's.
Wait, I'm curious if So Money, because he was nodding his head. Sorry, I'm curious if he agrees or just. We haven't talked about any of our games, so I'm curious his take on Utah and this game here.
I agree. Yeah, I think that.
Okay. All right, I wasn't sure if you were honest here.
Yeah, and we're very similar on the price points as well. In this game, I do agree with you.
All right. Seems like it's a double best bet, which never works out well. Anyways.
It works out when I'm on.
All right. There we go. Not when Albert's on. Okay. So I think I found the root of the problem here.
Although we hit our double best bet on the Oilers the other night.
All right. Well, it's a new season.
It's a new season.
Bounce back.
Alber went 4-0 the other night. That's like, I feel really bad for the chat because I know everyone.
They went 0-4
fading. Yeah.
Tough one. Let's flip over and talk the Canucks. Nashville taking on the Canucks. Basically a pick 'em everywhere for So Money's Canucks. Anything you like in this game, So Money? You think your Canucks are going to pull out a victory here?
I mean, plus money on the Canucks is tempting, but I mean, even it's just they have one center right now who's got his own problems to deal with, right? So like, I mean, is he even a full centerman in this league right now? So like, you got half a centerman, and you got three AHL centers. So it's really, really tough to win in this league if you can't dress centers. So it's just, even against Nashville, I have to sit this one out. I was on the Canucks against the Penguins, and there was such a bad play, and like I saw firsthand there that how diminished this team is up the middle, and Pittsburgh's better than Nashville, I guess, but and we'll get Demko and Ned, but it's not something that I can that I can get behind here.
All right, not really hammering the table for it here, but I'm sure if there's like some bigger plus monies popping up, maybe you might be swindled to take your Canucks.
I think, are we on a Noonan watch here, So Money? Because I think we kind of are.
Yeah,
possible.
Yeah, I mean, like if we get him, then I guess my thinking would change, but maybe the lack of center would cancel out starting a Noonan. But if that comes to fruition, then I would definitely be closer to the Canucks then.
All right, makes perfect sense here. Let's move on and talk let's do Seattle Winnipeg up next. Moretto, I know you like Seattle in this game at that plus 1.5. What gets you to that point for Seattle here?
Yeah, I think like a plus 1.5 money line. I like them both. Obviously, they're kind of just derivatives of each other. I played more on the 1.5 just because I still think Seattle's not a good team that finds ways to lose games, lose tight games, and Winnipeg's not a great team that finds ways to somehow continue to win tight games. So in this case, I do lean to the plus 1.5, minus 130-ish, more so than I do the money line. But the Jets just look terrible. I mean, they're winning games, but they should not be winning games right now. and that's against like a cupcake schedule. Their numbers are just really, really bad. Like their last 4, they played the Islanders, they played Philly, they played Nashville, and they played Calgary. Less than a 40% expected goal share at 5-on-5 over those games. Like they are not driving play whatsoever. Their depth up front is really hurting with the injuries they still have. I bet the Flames on Monday. I think it was a crime not to get that one home against Winnipeg. I think we deserved a lot better in that one. But yeah, the Kraken haven't been particularly good, but like, again, I think this is just way too big of a number against a Winnipeg team. I'm just not at all sold on right now. I think the market is just way, way, way too high on this Jets team because of what they did last year. I don't think they're as good. I think they're due for some regression. Hopefully it starts here.
All right, makes perfect sense. Let's move on and talk about the marquee game of the night. So many, I'll give you the floor here. Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Anything you like in this game? Anything you're looking forward to watch, just to piece out some information on these two really strong teams?
Yeah, Carolina's a bit banged up, and I think that's accounted for in the line. You put a premium on Colorado at home, elite team, a couple of elite team with the home premium, and then you add a little bit more for Carolina's injuries. So I think that that all makes sense in the current number right now at around the minus 130, 135 price.
All right, let's flip on. We've got 2 more games left here. Kings and the Stars. Moretto, you like the under on this game? Talk us through it.
Yeah. I think if you didn't get the initial numbers, it's still very good. Like it hasn't, it's run a little bit, but it's still pretty much where I'd be very comfortable betting it. There's plus 105 on the 5.5 widely available. The Kings are an under team, especially on the road. Like a really nice bounce back from Kemper in St. Louis. They're not generating and they're not playing that like wide open style that they were trying to play at home. They're getting very much back to that like stingy Kings type of game away from home. This is definitely a matchup where they would look to play that way too. And the Stars just haven't got their offense going at all. Like it's been sluggish, low event hockey for them so far. I was wondering if we'd get DeSmith here, which wasn't necessarily going to change anything, but I know Ottinger's since been confirmed too. So I just really think that this is going to be a tighter game. Not a lot of offense either way. Kings are going to do their best to just suffocate this one, and the way Dallas is playing right now, it looks like it's going to take them a little bit of time to get going here. So under 5.5 plus money, I like that.
All right, under 5.5 plus money. You can find plus 105s out there, pretty much widely available across the entire board. Let's close it out here with the last game we haven't touched on yet. Montreal Canadiens taking on the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm going to throw to So Money just so that Alex can't talk about his favorite team.
Yeah, I thought that the Habs were a bit fortunate last night. I think that they're going to run into a Oilers team that they eventually will get it together. It's just a matter of when. We've started seeing flashes of that the last couple of games here, but I think that we're going to get a strong Oilers effort here, and but it's reflected in the line though. We're already over. Where are we at? Minus 230 right now, minus 220. So I'll pass on that number with the expectation that at some point here the Oilers do get it together.
Okay, passing on that. Hoping the Oilers can get it together. I wonder if you can do. Someone in the chat's mentioning Ivan Demidov under the half point there. I think it was Charles Saul. I got to say he's probably not a fan of Demidov to
money.
win.
Not a fan of money.
To win the call there.
It's just what Charles is.
All right, fair enough. Any last thoughts from either of you guys? If you want to give you the floor now, Alex, we'll start with you.
I wish the timing worked out better for the Anaheim Boston goalie confirmations, but we got the Mrazek Korpisalo game, and 2 teams that can't really defend right now. So I think at this point you're betting the absolute worst of the number if you bet the over 6.5 minus 105, but there's a chance we see like 12 goals in that game tonight. In terms of the game, So Money had kind of touched on that. I didn't really talk about. I don't really have too much to add or any real plays in them. I gotta say, like I was so high on this Tampa team coming into the season, and there's no way I want to bet the Blackhawks right now. Like even though they've looked better, like this is just a spot where I feel like Tampa can just get right and just kill them. But like, just if you do buy into what you've seen from both these teams a little bit, like not even like fully, obviously we expect Tampa to be a lot better and Chicago not to be this good. But if there's even like, 25% truth to what we've seen so far, that's a really, really big number. But again, I'm a chicken. I have no interest in getting involved there. And go Habs, go. Demidov, Calder, make sure you get those bets in. Or frankly, just keep betting Schaefer if you guys want, and then we can just keep getting some better numbers on Demidov. That works too.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you about the Demidov stuff. Schaefer just looks like legit. Anyways, gonna throw to so money here. Let him close out the show. Any opinions or thoughts before we head off here? Any thoughts on any games that Alex touched on but you weren't able to touch on?
Not really. I think that Alex was on pretty much the games that I had circled as well as usual. I do like the Oilers under a bit. I think that that's the Montreal Edmonton under. That's a game that I think should probably move up a little bit more, and I will get on that under.
All right, sounds good. Get in on that under, and that wraps up for today's show, guys. Do us a huge favor, smash the like button. On the way out. We got Edge Work overtime every Tuesday and Thursday here on the Hammer Daily. Alex, so money. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys later. Do us a huge favor again. Smash the like button, goes a long way. If this is your first time watching the show here, hit that subscribe button as well. I heard from an outsider source that it'll help you win your bets tonight if you click the subscribe button and you haven't clicked it before. I'm kidding. That's not true. But anyways, hopefully you believed me and hopefully you clicked. But if you didn't click, hopefully we've earned your subscription because I feel like we do some good stuff here over here with the shows. And it's the best way to support us is to subscribe and smash the like button. Drop your comments down below. Let us know your opinions. Tomorrow, we have a great group of guests coming on. We got Austin Mock coming out, talking about some college football. We got George Stilfides batting leadoff. Going to be talking some NFL Survivor, Week 8 stuff. And then finally, he was here. I can't believe it's already been a month since he's been on the show. Andrew Gombes is back talking UFC 321, which should be a great fight. Aspinall, Gain, pretty interesting card here. Umar Nurmagomedov also fighting on that card. Alexander Volkov, some heavyweight fights. Going to be interesting to talk through with him here. And that wraps up today's show. Do us a favor, one more time, smash the like button. That's how you show the most support. If you like us and you want to support us, do it. Tells the algorithm you like our stuff. Let us know your thoughts on the gambling situation after the fact, after the stream is done in the comment section down below. I want to hear your thoughts on it. I feel like there's some good nuanced takes that are going to be some out there, but we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. This has been the Thursday, October 23rd edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel Sports. We will see you guys right here tomorrow.